But you won't believe the drama that exploded from just one little joke. Not a scandal, not a royal leak, not some secret expose. No. It all started with a joke. And not just any joke, a sly, brutal little line dropped by the king of sass himself, Graham Norton. Yep, he didn't even say a name, honey, but we all knew, we knew exactly who he was talking about. So there Graham is, doing his usual thing on his show, cheeky, charming, roasting celebrities left and right, and then, bam, he goes in. He starts talking about people who say they want privacy but just can't seem to stop talking, giving interviews, releasing documentaries, and dropping new lifestyle brands like they're on sale. The audience? Dead, like full-blown belly laughing before he even finished the sentence. The room erupted. And girl, no one said it, but everyone felt it. This was about Meghan Markle. Oh, yes. The Duchess turned Hollywood darling just got dragged in the most classy, clever way possible. No name needed, just vibes. And here's the tea. It wasn't even mean. It was just honest. The kind of honesty that people have been dying to hear someone say out loud for years. Because let's be real, Meghan's been on a world tour of her own trauma for so long. 1 minute it's Oprah, next minute Netflix, then Spotify, then Time Magazine. Every episode promising truth, but let's face it, it's felt more like PR, expensive, polished, Instagram filtered PR. So when Graham cracked that line, it was like a collective exhale. Everyone was like, finally. Someone said what half the world's been whispering. And it hit hard, not because it was cruel, but because it was real. There's a difference between being vulnerable and being performative. And baby, Meghan crossed that line a while ago. But oh honey, behind the scenes, Meghan was livid, shaking, furious. Word on the street is she was literally pacing in rage. Her team in full-blown panic mode, like DEFCON 1 damage control. But the thing is, it wasn't just the joke. It was the fact that the joke worked. It cut through all the branding, the curated posts, the stylized podcast intros. It showed the truth. And it wasn't cute because let's not forget, this isn't about just one joke. This was about years of contradictions finally catching up. Meghan's been telling the world she's been silenced while talking non-stop, asking for privacy, then showing up on every red carpet, mic in hand, podcast queued up. People got tired, not even mad anymore, just exhausted. And that's why Graham's joke landed like a bomb. It gave people language for the fatigue. It wasn't cruel, it was cathartic. Twitter went wild, TikTok lost its mind. Memes of Meghan perched on a throne of tabloid covers everywhere, sipping tea like she's in a perfume ad, while dramatic music plays in the background. It was savage, but smart. And guess what Meghan did? Nothing, no response, no witty comeback, no heartfelt post, just silent. And in today's world, that's worse than a tantrum. It screamed guilt, or worse, that she can't take what she dishes out. And can we talk about the irony? After all that storytelling, all those exclusive interviews, all those perfectly timed tears, suddenly, crickets. And that silence made the laughter even louder. It was like someone finally said, "The emperor has no clothes," and everyone burst out laughing. But babes, it wasn't just fans and trolls. Industry insiders took notice too. People in suits, executives, producers. They started whispering, wait, is Meghan's brand actually flopping? One Netflix insider even spilled the beans, saying they've been trying to repackage her for months, like leftovers, because archetypes barely survived season 1. No hype, no buzz, and folks started wondering, what is she even about anymore? What's the message? Is there one? It wasn't just bad PR anymore. It was a brand crisis. Meghan tried to control every angle, every narrative, from Instagram to Netflix to candlelit interviews. But the internet, oh girl, it doesn't care about aesthetics. The shinier the package, the easier it is to mock. And once parody kicks in, game over. You lose control of the narrative. And that's what happened. People weren't just laughing, they were liberated. Like, finally we're allowed to roll our eyes. One tweet that went viral said she wants privacy like a fire hydrant wants to stay dry. Brutal, and honestly, kind of accurate. Then to top it off, as if trying to save face, Meghan was announced as an honoree by the Natural History Museum of LA. A whole fancy award. But the timing, girl, the timing. It looked desperate. Like, please clap. It was giving, look at me being inspirational, while the internet was photoshopping her into SNL skits. To her diehard fans, it was a win. To the rest of us, it was cringe. Like, really, a gold plaque isn't gonna erase the fact that the public is collectively tired. It all felt like another PR maneuver, another attempt to steer the narrative. But this time the audience wasn't buying it. It was too rehearsed, too obvious, too fake. And meanwhile, Meghan's PR team was scrambling, brainstorming ideas, softer interviews, cozy mom content, rebranding her as a wellness queen. But it was too late. The internet smelled blood and turned it into art. Reaction gifs from old interviews, remixed videos, satire songs, edited clips with Graham Norton's voice mocking the Netflix docuseries. And it wasn't hate, it was commentary. And it spread like wildfire. The public had taken the narrative and run with it. And they weren't being cruel, they were just over it. It was clarity, like we see the game now. And once people see behind the curtain, you can't make them unsee it. And the worst part? Meghan's team still didn't say anything. No statement, no tweet, no post, just dead air. And in a world that runs on noise, silence screams. It made everything worse. People started to feel bold, like the spell had been broken. The pedestal she was on cracked, shattered. She wasn't a symbol anymore, she was a brand. And the brand was tired. Okay, so where were we? All right, Meghan's public image in full meltdown mode. The joke hit, the internet ran with it, and she stayed silent, which, by the way, was the worst move possible. Because girl, this woman has made a whole career out of speaking out, owning her voice, reclaiming her story, telling her truth. But now, when someone finally clapped back, gently, with a wink and a laugh, she had nothing to say. And that silence, it was deafening. Suddenly, all those documentaries, interviews, magazine covers, they didn't feel empowering anymore. They felt like a lot, just way too much. The same story, rebranded over and over again, each time with a new sad piano soundtrack, new angles, new lighting, but the exact same message. People were over it. Even the fans were like, wait, didn't we already hear this in the Oprah interview and the Netflix series and the podcast and that Time cover shoot? It all started to feel like a publicity loop, like she was stuck playing the same scene, poor misunderstood Duchess, over and over. Only now, no one was clapping, they were chuckling. Even Hollywood was over it. You know it's bad when the industry, which literally runs on image and illusion, starts rolling its eyes. One anonymous producer even said out loud what everyone was thinking. The Meghan effect isn't working anymore. Ouch! Netflix quietly shifting focus. Archetypes wasn't pulling numbers. Her upcoming content not building buzz. People weren't watching. Brands were hesitating, nobody wanted to say it officially, but behind the scenes, the energy had shifted from, OMG, she's powerful, to, ugh, what are we even promoting anymore? And that's the dagger, right? The message was lost. Somewhere along the way, in all the curated Instagram posts and filtered interviews, Meghan stopped being relatable. She became a brand with no direction. Just Meghan, polished, PR'd, rehearsed, over and over. Even the tone of her interviews changed. The soft lighting, the poetic metaphors, the always perfect tear rolling down the cheek. It felt like watching a trailer for a drama film, not a real woman telling her story. And eventually, people clocked it. It didn't feel real anymore. And that, babe, is the kiss of death in today's media. Because the public, we don't want perfect. We want authentic. We want someone who messes up, who admits it, who shows the unfiltered messiness, not someone who always seems ready for a Vogue cover. Even her emotions started to look performative, like someone practicing being vulnerable in the mirror. And the public, especially Gen Z, can sniff out a fake vibe from a mile away. So when Graham Norton dropped that roast all cheeky and casual, it wasn't just a moment. It was a shift. It cracked the illusion, and it gave everyone, fans, critics, journalists, meme makers, permission to laugh, to stop walking on eggshells, to call out the contradictions without feeling guilty. And because it was funny, it spread like wildfire. That's the thing about humor. It tells the truth in a way people can't ignore. And Graham? He nailed it. Even Meghan's own words came back to haunt her. TikTok was flooded with parodies of her past interviews, auto-tuned sound bites, and reaction gifs of her every expression. One viral video even mashed Graham Norton's joke over slow-mo footage of her walking like a Disney princess through a field. Savage. But let's be real, this wasn't bullying, it was satire. People weren't being cruel, they were saying we're done pretending. And the worst part, there was no villain this time. No tabloids, no royals, just Meghan and a whole crowd laughing. That's what made it hurt. Her story of being silenced once felt powerful, but now? It felt recycled, repackaged, marketed. The public felt used, like how many times can you cry foul and then launch a new project? One media expert called it performative authenticity fatigue. Fancy words for we're over it. Meanwhile, her team scrambled, trying to rebrand her as a mom, a lifestyle guru, but it was too late. The memes were viral, the jokes global. Even fans were sighing, not out of hate, but disappointment. The magic was just gone. And Graham, he didn't rant, he didn't scream. He made one clever joke, and in it was every side eye, every here we go again that people had been feeling for months. It hit because it was true, and truth stings. Now Meghan's at a turning point. Keep pushing the same polished version and fade into the background, or drop the act and get real, because the applause has stopped. And when the clapping stops, you either change the story or exit the stage.